And luckily it worked out. Yes. Miami, we're known for our palm trees and our ability to be resilient in these situations, come back to center. So yes, it's a part of the culture down here.
That's awesome.
Lots of hurricanes. So I love the way that you put that. And I think that, that could be everybody's first step in terms of developing like your unique messaging. Mm-hmm. What was the unlock for you? Was it something where you sat there and you were like drafting, brainstorming, how can I stand out? Or was it something that organically, because for some people it's, especially the ones that we've coached, it's a recognition of, okay, what is the thing that you're going to, we need you to do this for a long time, right? Because most marketing, it's not an overnight success story. A lot of it is, it's the consistency over time that it starts to pay off, right? Mm-hmm. So, I always find it that it's really important that you find something that you enjoy doing as a part of this process.
Yes.
Because if all of it is just marketing info, white papers, advertisements, selling, you're going to burn out over time. But I feel like you found a way to make it fun for yourself. Was that the intent or did it just happen organically?
Well, one thing that I can think of specifically, I was working with a coach, his name's Simon Bailey. He's also a speaker, and he challenged me in January of 2020. He said, I want you to do a video on LinkedIn every weekday.
Wow. Every weekday. Wow.
What? And he's like, yeah, every weekday. No, like just every weekday. So literally from the third week of January, 2020, until I was, speaking of resilience, until I was hit by a pickup truck and fractured my back on May 3rd.
Oof.
I did a video on LinkedIn every single Monday through Friday.
Wow.
Every single day. Most of the time, sometimes I would go and scribe and caption it and do stuff, but most of the time it was just like whatever I was thinking about, something I just spoken about on a workshop or a keynote, like a little nugget or something just something that I thought would be of value to people, and so when COVID hit, I just found myself one of the forms of release and relief that I had. So one that was like getting reps in. It was like rep. I don't want to do this. Do it anyway. Rep. And so that was like a really good practice. And then when COVID hit and I was feeling kind of hopeless because at the time I was only 7 months into having launched my business, which was a full-time in-person speaking business.
Wow. Talk about resiliency. You completely adapted your business to the point where I feel like you're synonymous with Zoom calls.
Yeah, I had to. Like for me, it wasn't even a choice. It was just like, oh, okay.
Survival.
So you have to, because 80% of my business disappeared in a matter of like 2 weeks. And I was like, you got to figure something out, girl.
Can we sit there for a second? How did that make you feel when you first recognized that?
I'd say a little bit panicked. But also, I'm not someone who's easily defeated in general. And I have a very strong sense of agency. I have always had a strong sense of agency, meaning I am confident in my ability to shape my future. I'm confident in my ability to do things that lead me to an outcome that I want, because I've proven to myself over and over again that I can do that.
I love that. Right.
So LinkedIn actually has a role in the story, because I got an outreach from a guy that I met at a LinkedIn local. I spoke at a LinkedIn local event in Baltimore as one of my last speaking engagements before COVID hit in person. It was like a packed house, and we talked afterwards. We connected on LinkedIn. COVID hit. All this stuff started to disappear. I had HR students reach out to me to say, hey, we're scrapping our April programming because no one wants to talk about that topic. We need you to come talk about something that's going to elevate people and give them hope. And there was the guy that I met at the LinkedIn local event reached out to me, and he said, hey, I'm doing a staying positive in the pandemic panel with a bunch of people in Baltimore and the Ravens football coach, John Harbaugh. And I was like, okay. I was like, I will be on your panel. And so it was like that outreach was something that was like a glimmer of hope that I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And so I got on there and I was sharing insights about just ways to be resilient, not Pollyanna positive, toxic positivity nonsense, none of that. Just like real practical things that I was doing to help myself. And then at the end I sang, when COVID hit, I had started to just share things that were bringing me a little glimmer of hope. And so I'd sing a snippet of like Hakuna Matata or This Little Light of Mine. And so at the end of that panel, I was like, I'm just going to sing a little Hakuna Matata. So I sang a bit of that. And then the same week, a former client that I've not worked with in 3 years messaged me on LinkedIn. Hey, our people are really struggling with their emotional and mental well-being right now. Do you do virtual training? And like any good entrepreneur, I was like, sure do. Let's get on the phone.
It's like, well, today I do.
So I figured it was like those two things. It's like when we're in a place of feeling really down and discouraged, we often just need like one thing that like knocks the domino over, that's like gives us some place to focus our attention other than how sorry we feel for ourselves.
Right.
And
So
that's
true.
That's what it was. Those outreaches, those specific 2 outreaches on LinkedIn from people were 2 of the dominoes that got knocked over for me, that got me into practice, which helped me build out a 3-part training series on building resilience. And they were the experiment client, and they knew they were the experiment client. And I've since done that for a bunch of other companies. And so it was like being willing to just figure it out as you go, which is what everyone's doing anyway. They just don't admit it. Like that's what I had to do. And it was that little bit of momentum was the thing that just carried me along, started to snowball and build up. And I've done almost 200 virtual speaking engagements in the past year and a half or so.
That's amazing. So to kind of summarize, because we're going to wrap things up in a moment, I think that applies to both of us, because when we look at your story, your situation, it was 2 messages that completely change your perspective, and in many ways change your business, change your life. For me, it was a single message. I got a single response, and that one risk led to every blessing that I have in front of me right now. That's really all it takes. And I don't remember the exact quote, but I'm sure, Rachel, you could either relate with it or recall it yourself, is, there are people in this world right now that are doing the things that you wish you could be doing, and they're not any smarter, any more talented than you are. They're just the kind of people that went after it. They decided, this is what I'm going to do, and they just went after it and they did it. So for anybody that's watching, for anybody that's searching for a job, for anybody that's in this space or still kind of on the fence about using LinkedIn, you are well within reach of all of these things that you really want for yourself. You just have to be able to look at the crack and blast that door open. And if not, find a window, break through. You could always find another way, right? So yeah, Rachel, any final thoughts? Anything else you want to share with the audience before we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, as you were saying that, I have a little vision board over here with a bunch of stuff stuck on it. And one of the things I had is this quote from a guy named Mike Dooley. I don't know who Mike Dooley is, but it's his quote. The one thing all famous authors, world-class athletes, business tycoons, singers, actors, and celebrated achievers in any field have in common is that they all began their journeys when they were none of these things.
Wow. I got chills. That is so powerful.
Perspective, keep showing up.
We all start the same. We all start with 0 followers. We all started not knowing a single soul. And just through time and through self-belief and many other variables, that's why we're here now. So,
and support, community support, like lean on, that is the thing. Yes. Lean on people. You don't have to do any of this alone. There are people that want to help you if they only knew that you needed help. So like, if you're on the fence about asking for help or reaching out for something like that, like let this be the nudge for you. Right,
Rachel. So we definitely want to, very quickly, we just want to like spread some spotlight on what it is that you do and what you provide to people. What is that, and how can people reach you?
Yeah, so I work with all different kinds of organizations, a lot in professional services, in engineering, accounting, tech, finance, healthcare. And I help them and their leaders and their teams to be more connected to each other, to be more engaged, genuinely, authentically engaged, and to help them build a sense of strength and resilience from the inside out. And so I, do that through workshops and keynotes and leadership trainings. And if people want to connect, certainly on LinkedIn, Rachel Druckenmiller, and then my website is unmutedlife.com. So those are the 2, I'd say, best places. And Instagram for you, John. On Instagram, I'm at Unmuted Life on Instagram. But
I've learned my lesson. Mine's on private now. As soon as I started building my follow, I was like, nope, not anymore. So nobody will be getting my Instagram name. But thank you, Rachel, for co-hosting with me. It was a beautiful experience, and look forward to Rawless joining and hosting again very soon. So until next time, guys, take care.